In today's world, relationships play a pivotal role in shaping a man's emotional and mental well-being. Yet, not all relationships are healthy or beneficial. Some can drain your energy, disrupt your peace, and ultimately hold you back from achieving your potential. So how can you protect yourself from such toxic dynamics? In this video, we'll dive into 6 critical signs that a woman might be low value and detrimental to your well-being. Using Stoic wisdom, we'll explore how you can recognize these red flags early and take steps to protect your peace, focus, and self-worth. If you value self-growth, emotional control, and strong relationships, make sure to watch until the end. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe now for more content on Stoic philosophy, self-mastery, and how to create better relationships that serve your goals. Sign 1. Thriving on drama and chaos. One of the core principles of Stoicism is the pursuit of tranquility, an inner calm that remains unshaken regardless of the storms that might rage around us. A Stoic understands that while we cannot control the external world, we always have the power to control our response to it. Our peace, our focus, and our inner strength are cultivated by remaining detached from things outside of our control, like the actions or emotions of others. Now consider a woman who thrives on drama and chaos. This isn't just someone who occasionally has a bad day or gets into an argument. This is someone who creates chaos for the sake of excitement and attention. Drama is her comfort zone, and the more confusion she can stir up, the more she feels alive. When things are calm, she might stir the pot, making small issues into big problems just to keep the emotional energy flowing. She'll test your patience, push your buttons, and escalate trivial issues into conflicts that don't need to exist. In a Stoic's world, this kind of behavior is toxic. Stoics teach that we must be intentional in how we live, aligning ourselves with virtue and calmness. But a person who thrives on drama is not aligned with virtue. They value emotional chaos over emotional clarity. She values conflict as a source of attention and validation, and this constant state of turmoil is not only draining, but it also prevents any meaningful progress. The problem with engaging with this chaos is that it's a dangerous distraction from your own life. The Stoics describe this as allowing external events to dictate your emotional state. When you get pulled into her drama, you lose your ability to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your growth, your peace of mind. You begin to live in reaction to her energy, not in alignment with your own purpose. Consider how Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, put it. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you engage with drama and chaos, you relinquish that power over your mind. You allow external turbulence to dictate your internal calm. This, in the Stoic worldview, is a fundamental mistake. It's essential to recognize that drama doesn't just stay in the moment. It festers and grows. Every argument, every emotional outburst, every conflict she creates pulls you further away from your center. Over time, this can chip away at your peace, your focus, and your clarity. You'll find yourself constantly on edge, waiting for the next emotional crisis to erupt. But as a man on the Stoic path, you must maintain control over what is within your sphere of influence. You cannot control her behavior, but you can control how you respond to it. This means practicing emotional detachment, not allowing her actions to dictate your emotional state. If she creates chaos, don't meet it with a response that escalates the situation. Instead, take a step back. Keep your calm. Recognize that chaos is an external force, and you do not need to engage with it. In fact, the Stoics emphasize that we should not just avoid chaos, we should cultivate peace. When others are in turmoil, we must be the calm in the storm. Seneca wrote, "A good character, when others are in chaos, shines brightest." And so, as a man of Stoic values, when she seeks drama, you don't simply avoid it. You stand in peace by refusing to engage with the chaos. You protect your peace and energy. You protect your focus. You protect your ability to think clearly, make wise decisions, and stay on the path of growth and virtue. So, when you recognize a woman who thrives on drama and chaos, remember that your calm is your greatest defense. Don't let her emotional turbulence drag you into her whirlwind. Choose clarity, choose calmness, and above all, choose peace over chaos. Sign 2. Addiction to validation. Stoicism emphasizes self-reliance, the cultivation of inner strength, and the importance of self-validation. The Stoics taught that true value comes from virtue, not from the opinions of others. A Stoic does not seek external validation to confirm their worth, because they know that their actions and intentions define them, not the applause or judgments of the crowd. This inner sense of worth is grounded in self-control, wisdom, and the pursuit of excellence. However, a low-value woman often falls into the trap of seeking constant external validation, whether it's through social media likes, compliments from strangers, or approval from others. She relies on the attention and praise of others to feel good about herself. Her self-esteem is dependent on the fleeting approval of others, and her emotional state is constantly shifting based on how much validation she can gather. This need for validation not only undermines her emotional stability, but also reveals a fundamental imbalance. When a person's worth is anchored in the approval of others, they become vulnerable to the whims of external judgment. This is the very opposite of the Stoic ideal, where a person's sense of self-worth remains stable regardless of external circumstances. In a relationship, this dependency on external validation can be draining. Rather than building a deep, meaningful connection based on mutual respect and shared values, the relationship turns into a performance, where her self-worth is contingent on your constant affirmations. The cycle is exhausting because no amount of validation will ever be enough. As soon as she receives praise, it quickly fades, and she'll need more to feel validated once again. It's a never-ending loop. From a Stoic perspective, this behavior is a sign of emotional instability and insecurity. It also creates an unhealthy dynamic in the relationship. Instead of focusing on mutual growth, the relationship becomes about constantly feeding her need for approval. This can cause frustration, as you may feel as though no matter what you do, it's never enough to satisfy her need for validation. The Stoics believed that true self-worth must come from within. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you allow yourself to be drawn into her need for constant external validation, you are essentially abandoning your own mental peace to try and meet an insatiable demand. The relationship becomes unbalanced, and you risk losing sight of your own needs and values. To protect yourself, practice recognizing when someone is seeking validation and examine whether it aligns with the principles you hold dear. A relationship should be built on mutual respect and shared values, not on constant external affirmations. It's important to remember that while it's natural for all of us to seek praise from time to time, when it becomes an addiction, it creates an unhealthy Foundation for a relationship. As a Stoic, your worth is rooted in your actions and virtues, not in the approval of others. It's crucial to recognize when you're being asked to validate someone who doesn't yet understand the importance of self-validation. If she is constantly seeking external validation, it may be a sign that she is not yet grounded in her own self-worth. Instead of offering her endless validation, encourage her to develop internal strength and self-acceptance. Ultimately, you can't build a strong, lasting relationship with someone who needs constant external validation. You both must be able to find self-worth from within. As Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If her self-worth is shaped by others, you'll find that your relationship will always be vulnerable to the whims of external circumstances. A Stoic man seeks a woman who has cultivated her own self-worth, someone who does not require validation to feel secure in herself or the relationship. Sign 3. Zero accountability. One of the key tenets of Stoic philosophy is the idea of personal responsibility, taking full ownership of your actions, decisions, and their consequences. Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus emphasize that the path to inner peace and virtue is paved by recognizing what is within our control and accepting responsibility for it. We must not blame others for our misfortunes or mistakes. Rather, we should look inward and focus on what we can change and improve. A low-value woman, however, often exhibits a complete lack of accountability. When things go wrong, whether it's a minor disagreement or a major setback, she quickly shifts the blame onto others. It could be the circumstances, her upbringing, or even you, but never herself. She refuses to take responsibility for her actions and choices, even when it's clear that her behavior played a role in the situation. This lack of accountability creates a toxic environment where growth is impossible, and conflict becomes the norm. From a Stoic perspective, this lack of accountability is a fundamental flaw. It prevents a person from recognizing their mistakes and learning from them, which is a crucial part of the Stoic path. Seneca wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." The Stoic approach is to pause, reflect, and take responsibility for one's actions. Without this, growth becomes stunted, and the ability to improve is lost. When someone refuses to take accountability, they are essentially avoiding the opportunity to grow, evolve, and strengthen their character. In a relationship, this can lead to constant blame-shifting, unresolved conflicts, and a lack of trust. If she never acknowledges her mistakes, how can you have a mature, healthy partnership? How can you both improve as individuals if one person is unwilling to reflect on their actions and take responsibility for them? The Stoics also remind us that we should focus on what is within our control and not waste energy on things that are not. If a woman is constantly blaming others and refusing to take ownership of her mistakes, this behavior is outside your control. The only thing you can control is your response. You must ask yourself whether you are willing to remain in a relationship where accountability is absent and where growth is stifled by denial. It's important to recognize that while nobody is perfect, a person who consistently refuses to take responsibility for their actions will eventually wear down the relationship. Trust is built on accountability. Without it, resentment builds, and the relationship becomes a toxic cycle of blame and avoidance. As a Stoic man, you must protect your emotional well-being by ensuring that those you engage with hold themselves accountable for their actions. Relationships require mutual respect and the understanding that both parties are willing to examine themselves, admit their mistakes, and grow from them. A person who refuses to take responsibility cannot offer the same level of maturity, stability, and respect in return. If you find yourself in a relationship with someone who consistently blames others and never reflects on their own actions, it's time to reevaluate. As Epictetus wisely said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. True wealth in a relationship lies not in avoiding conflict, but in facing it with accountability and a shared commitment to growth. A partnership built on accountability will lead to mutual respect, trust, and a stronger bond, qualities that a low-value woman, unable to take responsibility for her actions, simply cannot offer. Sign 4. Emotional manipulation. One of the most toxic behaviors a person can display in a relationship is emotional manipulation. At its core, emotional manipulation is an attempt to control or influence another person's feelings and actions through deceptive, underhanded tactics. Instead of addressing issues directly, the manipulator uses guilt, passive-aggressive behavior, and emotional outbursts to get their way, all while maintaining the illusion of victimhood or innocence. This behavior is not only deceptive, but also deeply damaging to a person's sense of self-worth. For the Stoic, emotional manipulation is completely contrary to the principles of virtue, truth, and self-mastery. The Stoics believe that we should always seek clarity and direct communication, confronting issues with integrity and honesty. A Stoic does not engage in passive-aggressive tactics or manipulate others to serve their own desires. Instead, they deal with conflict directly, calmly, and with the intention of resolving it in a way that respects both parties. A woman who resorts to emotional manipulation often uses tactics like guilt-tripping, playing the victim, or withdrawing affection to get her way. She may make you feel responsible for her emotional state, saying things like, "If you really loved me, you would do this," or "I can't believe you don't care enough to fix this." These tactics are designed to make you feel guilty or obligated, forcing you to comply with her demands, even if those demands aren't reasonable or fair. Instead of communicating openly and honestly about her feelings, she manipulates you into doing what she wants, all while avoiding direct confrontation. From a Stoic perspective, emotional manipulation is a form of weakness. It's a way of avoiding responsibility for one's own emotions and problems, relying instead on controlling others to alleviate personal discomfort. The Stoics would argue that emotional control is a crucial virtue. Learning to master one's emotions, rather than letting them dictate behavior, is key to maintaining a peaceful and fulfilling life. Emotional manipulation, on the other hand, is a sign of immaturity and emotional instability. In a relationship, this kind of manipulation can create a power imbalance. You may find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, unsure of when the next emotional attack will come, or how to appease her in order to keep the peace. Over time, this wears you down, leaving you mentally exhausted and questioning your own worth. You might even start second-guessing your actions, wondering if you've done something wrong when, in reality, you've simply been subjected to manipulation. The Stoics remind us that we cannot control others, but we can control how we respond to them. If you recognize that you're being emotionally manipulated, the first step is to detach yourself from the situation. Don't allow her to make you feel responsible for her emotions. Understand that her emotional outbursts or attempts to guilt trip you are not a reflection of your worth or actions. They are a reflection of her inability to manage her own emotions. As a Stoic man, You must stay grounded in your own sense of self and not allow another person to dictate your emotional state. Practice emotional resilience. When faced with emotional manipulation, resist the temptation to react impulsively or defensively. Instead, calmly assert your boundaries and refuse to engage in any form of manipulation. Be clear and direct in your communication, addressing the issue at hand without resorting to emotional games. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In this case, the best response to emotional manipulation is not to retaliate or engage in the same behavior, but to remain virtuous and true to your own values. Stand firm in your integrity, set healthy boundaries, and do not let her emotional turbulence pull you off course. Ultimately, a healthy relationship should be built on trust, respect, and clear communication. If you find yourself with someone who consistently manipulates your emotions to control your actions, it's time to reevaluate the relationship. Emotional manipulation destroys trust and emotional security, and no amount of love or affection can compensate for the harm it causes. A Stoic man deserves a partner who can communicate openly, take responsibility for their feelings, and engage in healthy, respectful dialogue. Not someone who manipulates emotions for personal gain. Sign 5. No long-term vision. Stoicism teaches the importance of having a clear purpose and long-term vision in life. A Stoic man understands that his actions and decisions must align with his higher goals, and these goals are rooted in virtue, wisdom, and personal growth. Life in the Stoic view is not about fleeting pleasures or distractions, but about building something meaningful that endures, something that strengthens the mind and character over time. A woman with no long-term vision can be a serious threat to a man's well-being and future. If she lacks clear goals or direction in life, her impulsiveness and lack of discipline can hold you back, pulling you into her uncertainty and instability. She may live day to day without any sense of purpose, drifting from one moment to the next without regard for the future. This creates a relationship dynamic where there's no mutual growth or long-term plans, no shared aspirations or alignment in life's bigger picture. In the Stoic worldview, this lack of foresight is the opposite of virtue. Seneca famously said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." A Stoic man is intentional about his time, his actions, and his relationships because he recognizes that life is finite and every moment is an opportunity to move closer to his goals. He surrounds himself with people who share that sense of purpose and are striving for something greater than momentary satisfaction. When a woman has no long-term vision, it's not just her life that becomes directionless. It affects the relationship as well. She may be impulsive in her decisions, acting on emotions or short-term desires rather than thoughtful planning. This can result in instability, indecision, and constant uncertainty. Without a long-term vision, she may be prone to distraction, never fully investing in the relationship or her personal growth. Over time, this can drain your energy and pull you away from your own goals. A Stoic would ask, "What is the purpose of our time together? How does this relationship contribute to my growth, my development, and my long-term aspirations?" If you find yourself in a relationship where the future is unclear and the focus is solely on short-term pleasure, it's important to recognize that this is incompatible with the Stoic ideal of living intentionally and in alignment with your higher purpose. Furthermore, the lack of long-term vision can breed conflict and frustration. If your goals don't align, and one partner is constantly living for the moment while the other is focused on the future, resentment builds. The relationship becomes a source of distraction and stagnation rather than support for individual growth and mutual achievement. The Stoics believe that it's crucial to evaluate the people we allow into our lives. Do they share our values and aspirations? Are they helping us become better versions of ourselves? Or are they pulling us into a cycle of momentary distractions? As a Stoic man, you need to make a conscious decision to distance yourself from anyone who lacks long-term vision. The more time you spend with people who do not think about the future, the more you risk losing sight of your own goals and potential. Recognize the importance of surrounding yourself with individuals who have a clear sense of direction and purpose. A woman who has no long-term vision may find it difficult to understand or support your goals, which can create a disconnect. You deserve a partner who is aligned with your long-term aspirations, someone who is driven, disciplined, and committed to growth, not someone who simply drifts from moment to moment. As Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. In the same way, don't waste time with someone who is not striving towards something greater. Be intentional about who you allow into your life and ensure they share your long-term vision for the future. Only then will you be able to build a partnership that propels both of you forward, creating something meaningful and lasting. Sign 6. Competing with masculinity. The Stoics believe in embracing and strengthening the qualities that make us virtuous, strong, and capable individuals. Among these virtues is strength, the inner strength that comes from discipline, resilience, and the courage to stay true to one's purpose. In relationships, true strength manifests not in dominance or control, but in mutual respect and the recognition of each person's value. However, a low-value woman may exhibit a toxic behavior by competing with masculinity. Instead of valuing her partner's strength and leadership, she may resent it or try to challenge it. This often comes across in subtle ways, questioning your decisions, undermining your leadership, or challenging your authority. In some cases, it could manifest in more overt competition, where she actively seeks to one-up you, pushing you into a power struggle that undermines both the relationship and your sense of self. For a Stoic, this kind of competition is not only unnecessary but counterproductive. The Stoic view of masculinity is rooted in the pursuit of virtue, courage, wisdom, justice, and temperance, not in the need to assert dominance over others. A Stoic man does not need to prove his masculinity through force or confrontation. His strength lies in his ability to remain virtuous and calm in the face of adversity. If a woman feels the need to compete with your masculinity, it could be a sign of insecurity or a lack of understanding of what true strength is. The Stoic man understands that strength isn't about trying to overpower others, especially his partner. It's about self-mastery, emotional regulation, and the ability to lead with wisdom and integrity. By undermining or competing with your masculinity, she's not strengthening the relationship. She's sowing seeds of division and conflict. The underlying issue in such a dynamic is the belief that a strong partnership must have one dominant figure, whether male or female. But Stoicism teaches that strength in a relationship comes from mutual respect, where both partners can stand firm in their own virtues without feeling the need to diminish the others. The ideal partnership is one where both individuals contribute their unique strengths, supporting each other's growth without competition or conflict. When this dynamic shifts toward competition, it's a sign that the relationship is no longer balanced or healthy. A man who practices Stoic philosophy will naturally resist falling into power struggles. His strength comes from his ability to lead through example, his calm, his wisdom, and his ability to maintain composure in any situation. He doesn't need to fight to maintain his position in a relationship. His strength is in his steadiness, in his ability to make decisions that align with his principles and values, regardless of external challenges. In a healthy relationship, a strong woman does not feel threatened by his masculinity. Instead, she complements it with her own strengths, creating a dynamic of mutual support. If you find yourself in a relationship where your masculinity is constantly being challenged, where your strength is undermined or devalued, it's time to ask yourself whether this relationship is truly serving your well-being. A partner who competes with your masculinity is not supporting you in becoming the best version of yourself. Instead, she is engaging in a toxic cycle that distracts you from your true purpose and potential. The Stoic ideal is not one of dominance, but of harmony, where each person, man or woman, brings their best self to the relationship. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." If you encounter this kind of competition, don't let it derail your purpose. Instead, recognize it for what it is, an obstacle, and remove yourself from that dynamic. Seek out a relationship where mutual respect, shared values, and an understanding of each other's strengths create a partnership that fosters growth, not rivalry. In a relationship built on Stoic principles, you should feel supported, not threatened, by your partner's strength. When both partners are aligned in virtue, there is no need to compete. There is only mutual respect and a shared commitment to growth. If you find yourself constantly defending your masculinity or fighting for control, it's time to step back and reflect on whether this relationship aligns with your true values and long-term goals. Recognizing these 6 signs of a low-value woman isn't about judgment. It's about protecting your peace, your purpose, and your well-being. As Stoic philosophy teaches us, the ultimate goal is to live a life of virtue, wisdom, and inner strength, free from unnecessary distractions and toxic influences. A high-value partner complements your growth, supports your goals, and contributes to a relationship rooted in respect and mutual understanding. By being mindful of these signs, you not only protect yourself from unhealthy relationships, but you also affirm your commitment to living a life of clarity, purpose, and virtue. Remember, a Stoic man does not settle for anything less than what aligns with his highest ideals. Seek out a partner who shares your values, who values stability, respect, and personal growth as much as you do. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. We delve into Stoic wisdom and personal growth strategies every week to help you become the best version of yourself. Stay true to your path, protect your peace, and remember, your value is rooted in your actions and your principles, not in the validation of others. Until next time, take care and keep striving for greatness.